Welcome to the Expert CRE Secrets podcast, where we believe most commercial real estate brokers, luxury realtors, they struggle with clarifying their passive income options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven brokerage strategy such as the EXP commercial model and purchasing investment real estate is the best way for you to grow your wealth. Hey, I'm your host, Brett Swartz, and each episode I'm joined by some of the best commercial real estate brokers, agents, luxury realtors, and passive income wealth advisors in the world, where they share their ideas, deal stories, and inspiration. So together we can make complex tax deferral strategies simple and passive income plans achievable. We're also streaming on Capital Gains Tax Solutions as well. It's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. I'm excited about our next guest. He is... part of founder of Victory Capital Group. And his focus is really being a real estate investor and a top performing real estate agent in the central New York area. As an agent, he is focused on helping investors grow their portfolio of income producing properties. He's also the host of a podcast, Make Money Make Sense, and a monthly meetup where he educates investors on building their portfolio. Please welcome to the show with me, Dante Belmonte. Hey, Dante, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Brett. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. For our listeners getting to know you for the first time, would you give them a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
Yeah, definitely. So my name's Dante Belmonte. I'm up in central New York, not to be confused with New York City at all. We've got cows roaming around. So I'm a real estate agent / broker in the upstate New York market, Syracuse, New York. And then with my partner DJ down in the Carolinas, we're managing partners of Victory Capital Group, a multifamily investment firm. So yeah, that's a little bit about me and what we're currently doing at the moment.
Excellent. And to help us get to know you a little bit more, I believe we've all been given certain gifts, Dante, and these gifts have been given to us to be a blessing and help to others. So I want you to go back maybe to your high school days, maybe your university days, and I want you to think about maybe that strength, that gift that you've been given, and how does that help, how you help and bless people today?
Yeah, so I don't know if it blesses people sometimes, but the kind of gift, so to speak, is I'm a very outgoing person. So I'm very talkative. I like talking with people, and that's how from a young age I was always in sales and moved into bigger sales, which is just real estate and apartments is basically what that is. So sales is my expertise. I like talking to people. I like convincing people that they're making the right decision, which they are, and coaching them and helping them to make that right decision, whether it's buying a house, buying an apartment, or the other sales I was doing in the past.
Excellent. So outgoing and coaching and helping others and communication. Is that a fair summary?
Yes.
Awesome. So now let's dive in. What's the number one secret to simplifying a real estate investing?
Number one secret. I guess it's really niching down and knowing what to pick your strategy is knowing what your goal is, what your end goal is, what you're trying to accomplish. So once you're able to figure that out, then you can start moving forward from there. I'd say that's my, so to speak, secret.
And as far as the end goal is concerned, what's the number one end goal you're seeing for your clients and investors in today's market?
It's really just building that passive income so they can now enjoy their family, freedom, do what they want, when they want, on their own time. That's definitely what the end goal of my clients are, what they have in mind.
Yeah, that freedom of time and energy, the one thing we can't get back, right? So if you can create enough passive wealth through income producing properties, cash flowing properties, you don't have to necessarily work as much or as often or ever again. Is that a fair summary?
Exactly. Yep. You hit it right in the head.
Excellent. So talk to us about what you're seeing right now in the upstate New York marketplace. What's inventory like? What's the appetite for real estate like? Give us the feel. Are a lot of people moving from the big city to upstate?
Yeah. So to kind of set the stage a little bit about what I'm doing up here is being a real estate agent. I focus on a lot of residential and like 1 to 4, maybe 6 and 8 unit properties. So I don't do the large commercial multifamily up here. I do it more in the South. But again, that's just to set the stage. So it's very competitive, just like a lot of spots in the nation. It's super competitive. For example, I go to put an offer on a home for one of my clients, and there's 53 other offers, and the home goes for 25 to 30% over asking. Super competitive environment. Things that I think are leading to that is lumber right now. It's very expensive to build, so people are buying existing assets. Interest rates, they're extremely low. So your buying power is more powerful. The dollar is more powerful in a sense. You can use more of it. And then people just being stuck at home for the last year or so, they are stuck in their apartments. They really hate it. They realize they need more space. They need that home office. They want that backyard. So they're going to go shopping a little bit more. And that's going to cause more competition in the marketplace is what I think it is. And then even on the investing side, people have money saved up. They've been sitting home. They are looking to invest in real estate because they've learned about it. They've been seeing it online. And then again, being interest rates are low, again, keep coming back to that. You're able to put in more money into an asset because that spread is going to be much larger.
Excellent. Yeah, no, that's all makes sense. So lumber is expensive to build. It's also hard to find, good tradesmen who are actually building, right? Interest rates are low and people want some more space, the home office. I couldn't agree with you more. We're seeing the same thing here in California. And lots of challenges with housing. And so, 53 offers and is pretty wild, and it's kind of unheard of, but it's happening, and prices are through the roof. That being said, what's the one thing to help your sellers? Well, not really say your sellers, but your buyers stand out if they're trying to win a deal?
Yeah. So, being aggressive with everyone else. So things I tell them is you have to remove all contingencies or the most amount of contingencies. The more contingencies you have, the farther down the list you're going to go. Home inspections, non-existent. Radon reports, non-existent. Contingent upon home sale, non-existent. You can't have those. You got to be aggressive with pricing, even your deposit. So that means, that deposit you have, whatever that is, it has to be large. Usually we take $1,000, $2,000 deposits on a residential home. Now we're pushing it up to $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. Telling those clients as well to make it non-refundable day one, meaning if they back out day two, that money does not come back to them, and the seller is going to keep that money, but we have to be aggressive. Quick close, fast close, take care of some of the seller's closing costs, so to speak. And then obviously a big one, price. You got to be super aggressive on price right now. So, where home is for 185, we're going up to as high as 230,000, which is insane. Don't know how these appraisals are hitting, but they are. But these people want these homes, and I just tell them, listen, the price you're paying for these homes right now, you need to plan on staying for them, in them for 3, 10, 15 years. You have to stay in it at least 3 years, because if you come and call me in less than 3 years and ask me to sell that home, you're going to take a loss. So I'm also telling them they need to plan on staying in the home for a while, or else they're going to have negative equity or a short sale.
Yeah, I think that's a very summary. Well said. What's the biggest challenge facing real estate agents right now?
It's finding deals. So, my father, he's a real estate agent at my brokerage as well. And we were talking about it yesterday that we feel as if a lot of agents are going to leave the market fairly soon. And reason being, a lot of them are weekend warriors. There's some agents that just practice on the weekend or after 5 o'clock because they already have a job. And, before they're thinking, oh, I wrote one offer and I got a $5,000 commission bonus, but now they're thinking I'm taking up all my time, I'm not working, all my evenings, all my weekends, showing these houses, writing up offers, and I'm not getting anything accepted. So I think the biggest challenge right now is just finding inventory for clients. If their inventory was out there, I'd have, probably 25 more sales at this point in the year than I would usually.
Yeah, inventory, absolutely. So not having listings or not controlling inventory, and then just, if everyone has buyers and cash, right? The key would be
exactly
is controlling the inventory. So, what are the biggest opportunities that you see in the future for real estate agents?
I think as far as opportunities go, once a lot of those agents move out, that frees up a lot of more deals for the agents that do this full time or take it seriously and use it every day. So as a lot of those agents progress out, let's say those agents are doing 3 to 4 deals a year and there's 1,000 of them, do the math. That's 3 to 4,000 deals that open up in this particular market each year. You distribute that through the top 200, 300 agents, you're talking more deal flow for them. So there's some opportunity there if some of these part-time agents do plan on moving out.
Excellent. So now let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about capital gains tax. You've been able to do some 1031 exchanges, right? You seem like you're familiar with those. But what's the biggest frustration, Dante, for yourself or for your clients when it comes to capital gains tax deferral and or the 1031 exchange?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I was just emailing one of my buddies we're looking for a little bit more capital for a deal we're coming up with. And he said, I've got someone that has, what did it say? I've got it right here. I can just pull it up. And he was saying, great guy doing a 1031 exchange. He has to name assets within 10 days. So he's kind of coming down to that position where I believe, if I don't try to memorize the dates because they're all over the place, but I believe it's 45 days you have to identify a property through the 1031 exchange. And this gentleman only has 10 days left. It's a very competitive market right now. It's very hard to find those deals. And once you identify them, you typically have to close on them at 3 or 4, whatever the number is. So that's difficult. And then another one is, we're looking at an 18 unit up in this market actually to purchase on our acquisition. And the seller keeps saying it's contingent upon me finding a 1031 exchange for a condo in Florida. It's contingent upon, he keeps saying it. And, it makes us a little bit nervous. We put in all this money, we put in all this effort and due diligence and inspection reports and moving forward on this asset just for it to possibly not happen, 30, 40 days down the road if this gentleman can't find a 1031 exchange to defer those taxes.
Yeah, exactly. We call it the shotgun wedding, right? You get engaged in 45 days and you have to get married within 180. And too often people overpay for properties or they don't list properties because of the exact reason. Say, hey, Dante, I'd love to sell my property, but I need to have my exchange lined up. Or I'd love to sell my property, but go find me that perfect deal to move into. And then you got the listing, right? And that becomes one of the biggest challenges for real estate agents because guess what? There's next to no inventory. Or even if we found you that perfect deal, guess what? The seller doesn't want to wait around for you to sell your property, right?
Exactly. It's like contingent upon a home sale or something.
Yes. So it's like, it doesn't ever really work, right? And so, especially in a seller's hot market like this, now we have a solution for that, by the way. And I learned this at Marcus and Millichap in the hard way back in 2006. Things were going great. Things were, everyone was 1031 and giving high fives. Then the market crashed and people went from, feeling good about buying properties to like, oh no, I shouldn't have taken on so much debt. I shouldn't have overpaid in that 1031 exchange. And in fact, you can now use something called a deferred sales trust, which is an alternative to a 1031 exchange, can save a failed 1031 exchange. We just did a deal out of Georgia, actually. It was a 128 unit apartment complex. And that particular seller was past his 45 days. And had already identified deals weren't making sense, and so he used the deferred sales trust and not a Delaware, not a traditional DST. It's actually a deferred sales trust to save his failed 1031 exchange. And by the way, you might want to bring that up to that seller who's going to be buying that place, and because oftentimes, if you can provide an alternative, they'll sell today knowing that they can defer the tax. So you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com for those who are listening to learn more about that. So next question is this. What are some potential questions clients should be asking you, Dante, but they maybe sometimes forget to ask you?
Referring like the sales or the investment section?
Both.
Okay. I'm sorry, repeat that question one more time.
Yeah, maybe questions that clients sometimes don't ask you, but they should be asking you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole pool of them. I mean, on the sales side, they should be asking about timelines. They really don't understand the timelines as much. They kind of just think it's going to happen quickly. And I still, even if they don't ask the question, I always mention it to them. I always talk about them with timelines of where the sale is in New York State. It takes a little bit longer. It's 45 to 60 days to close on a transaction here. It's one of the longer states. And some people don't understand that. So that's something I have to kind of work through with them. And I give them basically the path of the sale, what's going to happen and what steps. And people don't know what they don't know. You don't know what questions to ask if you really aren't thinking about them.
Yeah, it's fair, right? Because they maybe haven't sold a property in 10 years or 5 years or ever, right? It's their first time. And
exactly.
So they're excited and they're seeing the market's red hot. And they're thinking, oh man, if my neighbors' houses are selling so fast, and they don't realize all the work that's gone maybe into that to get to that point.
Right.
But right, so it's understandable for clients to feel that way at times. That being said, you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, knowing what you know now, if you go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget you would make sure to tell yourself to do?
I'm 23, so I'm going to push that back to like 18. So
there it is.
There's one thing. So, if there's something I could have done earlier, it was really just get started earlier. I started at about 2021. I would have got started a few years earlier, and I would have jumped into commercial real estate a little bit quicker.
Awesome. Love it. What's the one book you've recommended or gifted the most in the past year?
Ooh, probably The Hands-Off Investor by Brian Burke. It's a phenomenal book. I've read it twice, really enjoy it. Another one I'm going to kind of throw in there as a bonus is The Go-Giver. I forget who wrote it, but that was gifted to me, and I have recommended it to many people. It's more of a mindset books told in a story rather than just like an investment book or a sales book, so to speak.
I love it. Yeah. And by the way, Brian Burke, Praxis Capital, they're one of our strategic alliances, and they're phenomenal. Brian Burke might be one of the smartest guys in commercial real estate I've ever met. And
Yes.
so, yes, hands-off investor. And then The Go-Giver is just an amazing book, too. You can read that over and over and over again. It's such a great reminder to serve and give first with no strings attached, and things do work great when you do that.
Exactly.
Excellent. So favorite leadership quote or theme that you strive to live by, Dante?
Oh, geez. Put me on the spot on that one. I might not even have an answer for it. Quote or theme. I mean, you honestly said it, giving back giving without expecting anything back. And that's so true. Just adding value. Like every day I have probably a dozen phone calls scheduled with potential clients or people looking to reach out to sell their home or learn how to invest. And it's really just filling them with knowledge and adding value to them and not looking for anything in return. Name's going to get mentioned somewhere, enforce my name better.
Love it. What are you curious about right now?
I'm curious how these people are buying these deals that they're buying at the moment. I'm curious how they're making the numbers work and how people are able to do ground up development right now where prices where they're at and make the numbers work. Very curious. If someone knows, let me know.
I'm with you on that, Dante. By the way, we're talking with Dante Belmonte, which is kind of a really cool name, by the way. We haven't even talked about that yet. We will in a minute. VictoryCapGroup.com. VictoryCapGroup.com. You can learn about him. He is a real estate professional, broker, upstate New York, Syracuse area. Check him out at VictoryCapGroup.com. So Dante Belmonte. So growing up, tell me the coolest things that your friends would either tease you or with your name, because it is a cool name.
Yeah, so I always get that, and I've had people call me out of the blue and was like, I saw you online, I liked your name, I want to work with you, and that's actually benefited me. But like, kids in school, they'd make jokes, they'd be like Dante Belmonte, Del Russo, Montoya's, Rodriguez, guy, like they just make this really run-on name, and I just rolled with it. I thought it was hilarious.
That is hilarious. I love that. Yeah. So my last name is Schwartz, right? And so random people, they'd see Schwartz, and they I don't know if you've seen the movie called Spaceballs. They go, "May the Schwartz be with you." Like people would just say this to me, and some other things too. But it's really pretty cool to have a cool last name that people can get a kick out of.
I always said I should have been in a movie star, but I ended up in real estate. But I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking of Zorro. You know what I mean? Like, seems like that would have been a name in a movie like that. That being said, that is our last. Actually, that's the end of our. Actually, one more question. Mm-hmm. All right, Dante. So after your 23 years of life, right, helping people with real estate, learning so much, launching your podcast, doing the stuff that you do for your clients, how do you stay centered, Dante, in your values, and how do you stay encouraged to reach for new heights?
Oh, so it's really just eye on the end goal is what I'd say. And Ryan Serhat says it in one of his books is balls in the air. The more balls you have in the air, the more opportunity you have at catching some of them. So it's having those opportunities out there. You always want to have opportunities afloat so you can capture one if you need and have some to back up on too.
Excellent. So balls in the air, get multiple opportunities, right? Diversify your income streams,
Exactly.
Buy investment properties, get multiple listings or buyer opportunities. Yes, I love it. I love it. That being said, Dante, for our listeners who want to learn more about you, will you remind them one more time where they can find you?
Yeah, so they can head over to our website at VictoryCapGroup.com or my personal website, DanteBelmonte.com. I'm all over Facebook, Instagram at Dante Belmonte. I'm the only one out there that I know of.
Yeah, excellent. And I want to thank you for being on the show, Dante. I want to thank you for sharing a part of your story. I want to encourage you to keep being outgoing and coaching others, helping others achieve their real estate investment needs and goals. And I also want to thank our listeners for listening to another episode of the Expert CRE Secrets podcast, where we believe most commercial real estate brokers, agents, and luxury agents, they struggle with clarifying their passive income options, not having a clear plan, and considering the EXP commercial model and purchasing investment real estate is the best way for you to grow your business. If you want to hear more about how the EXP commercial model is hands down the best way to grow your real estate business and wealth, you can go to expertcresecrets.com. That's expertcresecrets.com. And by the way, if you want to learn more about the Deferred Sales Trust and how it can help your clients save a failed 1031 exchange, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. That's capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. Please rate, review, subscribe. Check out our YouTube channel. By the way, we're doing this on a video as well for those who are listening on iTunes. So you can check out me and Dante on YouTube right now. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day, everybody.